Good evening. It is Tuesday, June 21st, and welcome to the Positional Sports Talk Show Post, live streaming on Facebook Live, Twitch, and our Positional Sports Talk Show YouTube channel. We are a sports talk show made for the fans, from perspective of fans, presented by lifelong sports fans. We will provide our opinions, positions on the hottest topics in sports this evening. My name is Big Reg, and we got almost a completely full crew. We going five wide for you tonight. J3, how you feeling this evening?
What's up, fellas? Good to see everybody. Feeling great. Let's get it in.
Professor J is in the building. How you feeling, Professor?
I'm feeling okay, man. Glad to be back with the fellas, man. Thank you guys for holding it down. Thanks for your prayers. Thank you all for your prayers as my family has gone through a time of bereavement. But I'm ready to get back and get on the show. So let's praise the Lord. Let's get it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Sense is in the building. What's going on, brother Sense? How you feeling this evening? You on mute.
Yeah, COVID still got my brain. Feeling good. Feeling good to be back with y'all, man. Talking sports. Just echoing the sentiments of Professor, and yeah, let's get it.
Glad to see you doing better, Sense. We was worried about you and the missus, so very glad that y'all doing better.
Absolutely.
And last but not least, my brother Ed. How you feeling, partner?
I feel good. I'm glad to see everybody, ready to rock and roll. I thought that was Russell Wilson. I'm glad you had clarified that was Professor. I was like, wait, we got Russell in the house tonight.
One day.
So I'm
we
glad.
get there.
Glad to see you back, Professor, and also Sense, man. Hey, man, they take your time getting back into it, brother.
Will do.
All right. Well, this evening we're gonna
like the Lakers.
We ain't even 3 minutes in the show and you doing that.
We're not even sitting on that one for a minute. You got that one off. Good job.
Oh man.
This evening we're gonna give you some quick hits. Hey, this live golf thing. They thought it was a nuisance. This might be the nuclear bomb. So we're going to do Live versus PGA Tour. And of course, we got to talk about the NBA Finals and the NBA news. And then we're going to hit you with our final post of the evening. As always, we appreciate you tuning in. So please sit back, relax, enjoy posts on the Positional Sports Talk Show channel. So before we get into anything hot and heavy, because there's some hot and heavy things, the first two quick hits, pretty, upbeat stuff. Shout out to the New York Yankees.
Yes.
I mean, we give credit where credit's due. When people doing astonishing things, we got to get. The Yankees are 50-17.
That is crazy.
33 games over 500.
Mm.
They doing crazy stuff. Of course, they lead the American League. They lead all baseball. Right now, they're on a 120 win pace, which would be a record for Major League Baseball. And of course, we know it's baseball. It's a long,
right.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah.
So.
You're in line.
So the question is, how long can they keep this going? And real important, how long is Judge and Stanton going to stay healthy? Because that's been a big part.
That's the X factor right there.
Yeah. Them boys go down sometimes together, and they be gone for 3-4 weeks. So,
hey, maybe baseball need to take on some load management so my guys can be there in the postseason. Because if they red hot and healthy in the postseason, can't nobody miss.
It's a wrap. It's gonna be order in the court.
Yeah.
Aaron Judge presiding.
They need to get his arbitration taken care of by tomorrow.
Oh, you know he laughing. Would he turn down $250 million, something like that?
Right.
I was like, yeah, nah, that's okay. I'll play my last year and then we'll be out.
Wow.
It's good to have options.
Good to have options, yeah. and we got to also shout out the other New York team for the first time in a long time, deep into the season. Both New York teams are leading their division. The New York Mets are leading the NL with a 45-24 record. slightly ahead of the Dodgers and the San Diego Padres. So, as the
Could
summer
we
gets
possibly get another
Subway
series?
series? Yes.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah,
the days of
money.
That would be
Yeah.
interesting.
that's
Yep.
asking a lot, but you know New York would love it. I think even baseball would love that because that would be good for baseball. Flipping to the Frozen stuff. It looked like we was gonna have an issue in these Stanley Cup Finals. I mean, we talked about how the Colorado Avalanche just bull rushed through the playoffs and only lost 2 games all playoffs, and looked like they wasn't stopping in the finals. I mean, game 1 was a tight game. It went to overtime. They get a crazy not a crazy rebound, but a rebound that probably shouldn't have gone out that far. End up winning the game 4-3 in overtime. But then game 2, they beat Tampa Bay 7-0.
It ain't over yet. That's all I'm gonna say.
I don't know.
It ain't over yet. Okay. Don't give up on the blue and white.
The only thing that makes it still a series, both of those games were in Colorado. So all they did was defend their home ice. And what did Tampa Bay do? Tampa Bay went from looking old and slow in the first 2 games to showing them young fellas, we 2-time champions.
We got
So
this.
come on down here to Tampa Bay and we're going to show y'all.
Very Warriors-esque.
Yeah, but I guarantee you will not have a repeat of the Rangers series. The Colorado Avalanche is not going out like it's not going to be. Tampa is not going to do what they did to New York, to Colorado. They were supposed to win that game last night. They had to win that game last night.
I agree.
So I don't know. I just think Colorado. Colorado. I know they're 2-time champions, but I'm still rolling with the Avalanche.
I think this is going to be 7 now. I think we're going 7.
Oh, 7.
See that blue and white hold up that Stanley Cup again. Okay.
Nah, it's time for a change.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm with you on this point, Ed. I don't think they're going to win 4 in a row like they did to the Rangers. Yeah, Colorado's hungry. Colorado's going to make some adjustments, but they're going to have to work real hard to win this. So
they know that.
Yeah. But knowing and being able to do it, 2 different things. We're going to talk about the team very shortly who knew it, but actually being able to do it with 2 different things.
Warriors.
Let's do some real quick combat sports news. Boxing. We told y'all last week that your boy Edgar Berlanga had his Mike Tyson moment. And I said that's the stuff to get you suspended. Well, guess what? He got suspended from the New York Boxing Association. Now, generally speaking, in the U.S., once one commission suspends you, generally all of them recognize that suspension. So he ain't gonna be boxing for about 6 months or so. So
wow,
I hope that. And he says he didn't even officially bite him. I hope that attempt to bite him was worth it. But then I told y'all about what looked like a very good fight on paper last week. The unification of light heavyweight titles against Artur Beterbiev and Joe Smith Jr. Fight didn't last 2 rounds. Beterbiev hurt Joe Smith in the first round and finished him off in the second round.
Finish him.
crazy.
I mean, it is unbelievable. He has 100% knockout rating, professional knockout rating.
Wow.
I think he's now 15-0. All 15 been knockouts.
18.
18-0. My bad.
Wow.
Yeah. 18.
I shorted him a couple. Former Olympic gold medalist. And like I said, he was supposed to be the better fighter in the Russian system and the more accolade than the guy that beat Canelo. So
I don't understand why Canelo's in light heavy. I don't think he should. I think he needs to just say, you know what, I tasted it a little bit, and just go back to super middle, because there's no way he wants anything to do with Benavidez, or what's the guy's name he lost to?
See, he caught me off guard. I'll think about it in a second. Yeah, he don't want no parts of either one of them.
Right.
He was hoping to get Joe Smith so he could get an easy title.
Well, yeah. Well, Benavidez, that's who he's going to supposedly fight the Canelo winner. The guy, what's his name? Big Reggie. What's that guy's name? But anyway.
Bivol, the Canelo winner.
Yeah,
Bivol.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, you know that Canelo ain't fighting Bivol next. He fighting
No,
G.
no, Benavidez.
Oh yeah. He of course.
Bivol? You talking about Bivol?
Yeah,
He fought Bivol?
Yeah.
Bivol.
There's always some a little fly in the ointment. There is a mandatory challenger who was at the fight Saturday, who says, you know, he wants his title shot. And Benavidez was like, look, there's only one fight that interests me. That's unification. So if you ain't got a title, me and you don't need to be fighting. So if they can pay this guy to take a step aside, and then he'll be the fight after the unification, hopefully we get that unification fight this fall, because I think that they fought 3 times in the amateurs, and Benavidez beat Bivol 2-1. So they know each other. They've been around each other for decades. So that'd be an interesting fight. Just an FYI, we generally don't talk about UFC unless it's a big mega event like a big UFC. But last Saturday's card, they had 12 fights. 9 of the 12 ended in stoppages. Of the 9, 8 were KOs or TKOs. People was getting knocked out last night.
Say night.
Say night.
Say night.
You had a guy get caught with a spinning elbow, went to sleep. Guy get caught with a flying knee, went to sleep. Girls knocking people out. It was that's the craziest card. The most stoppages ever in UFC history on one card. 8 people get knocked out, or the referee's like, that's enough. Don't hit them anymore. So. All right, so now we got to change it to a little downer story. Some good news for Deshaun Watson. He opened up his wallet and was able to come to terms with 20 of the 24 plaintiffs. So once they figure out all the mechanics and get all the paperwork right, they'll have 20 of those cases dismissed, which means the number that he gave them wasn't good enough for 4 of the 24. And we already know, it was already reported that he originally offered them $100,000 to start. So my guess is that was quadrupled, or maybe $500,000 each. So I'm thinking Deshaun went from $2.5 million to 10 to J3 thinks they may have all gotten $1 million, somewhere between 10 and 20 million to try to make this thing go away. And I think he got pressure from the NFL, because once they said they was going to put the Texans as a defendant in these trials.
Oh yeah, Texas was like,
Hello, Deshaun. Do you ever want to play in the NFL again? Do you ever have desires to play in the NFL again?
Yeah.
I know you say you're innocent.
That's real talk.
I know. Yeah,
but I need you to make this go away.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the problem is that now, because it was in upwards of 60-something women. Now this might open the floodgates to some of the other women stepping up and holding that hand out for that cash that he seemed to be passing around. And then we're not even talking about suspension yet.
Oh, he gonna get suspended. It's just a matter of what the number is.
Yeah, he's gonna. At the minimum, I'm up to 12.
Yeah, and Goodell doesn't make the decision unilaterally anymore. And I hear that there are tons of women that are on that committee that are going to potentially decide Watson's fate. Because it could
And
be
you
a
also
whole
got-
year.
You got a ton of supposedly high-ranking officials at other organizations in the NFL who say we have to send a strong message because this was so big.
Mm-hmm.
If we don't send him out for at least a year, how does that look to all our female?
That's what I'm calling a year at least.
Yeah.
Here's
Patriots.
my only rebuttal on a. I can see a year, so I'm not saying he's not going to get suspended a year, but I'm resting on about 12 games. But here's the only thing: we can never forget that Goodell is an employee of the owners,
Right.
and the owners, as we all know, because we have a front row seat here in Washington area. We all know that the owners have considerable pull, and they can get away with a lot of mess because, again, they pay everyone. I mean, it's their team, it's their little circle of friends, and I don't see it being to a point where it's so severe because it can happen to any team. I mean, when these closets start opening up and these skeletons start spilling out, then it might be an Aaron Rodgers. It might be, I mean, it might be your star next. So I just think that I think Goodell is not going. He might have a team of whoever he consults, but I'm sure there's ownership that he talks to,
and they're gonna be handpicked. That's gonna make the decision.
But
That's what you're trying to say. That's what you're trying to say.
Because if not, there's no way. There's no way to explain away the Washington mess with with relatively no consequences. So I just caution people: don't be surprised if it's not as severe as people think.
Well, look, the NFL is becoming like church on Sunday. There's more women that are starting to tune in, buy the tickets, buy the jerseys, go to games and stuff like that. So even though majority of the owners are white men, when we talk about that bottom line and you have a large and it's an increasing fan base of women that are tuning in and participating in the sport, I think that strong message needs to be sent. And if it's not sent, then we're going to have some backlash that I don't think the NFL really wants to deal with.
Well, Professor, then why the double standard? Then why can Daniel Snyder have a rampant misconduct within his organization, and he's relatively scot-free? Of course,
mind you, he's not off the hook yet, and I don't think
he just said he's not going to testify.
Right, I don't think he's going to get off scot-free because there are more and more things that are ramping up against him. And now that you got Congress looking into the matter, there's not too many things he's going to be able to continue to dodge. And I think the owners are getting tired of him as well because he's starting to affect the bottom line of everybody else.
And Professor said the important word, owner. Deshaun Watson's a player.
That's true.
Daniel Snyder's an owner.
That's true.
He's one of the people that pays the check.
That's true. That's true.
So they're going to protect themselves.
Right.
Because if they come after him, like you said, are they coming after my organization next? Because we ain't doing everything. So, but yeah. I think behind closed doors, this Commanders situation is going to end up working out where you're going to end up seeing them. It might take 2 or 3 years, but I can see Daniel Snyder ending up selling the Commanders.
I was about to say they might pull a Don Sterling on Daniel Snyder. Yeah,
I hope so.
Time will tell.
Well, for $5 billion, they can have him.
Ain't worth it.
True story.
Hey, Jeff Bezos, I'm telling you.
Story.
What did the Denver Broncos go for? 4 or 5 billion?
4 or 5. Yeah.
4.5
billion. Billion.
Mm-hmm. Jeff Bezos got that.
Yeah, he can write a check.
Mm-hmm.
Elon Musk can write a check for that too.
Yeah, I'm good on him.
Yeah, but you got to be accepted into the small group. So that's going to be the problem with the Elon Musk's and Bezos. I don't know if they really want them to be in their group. So, all right, let's switch flip the switch and talk about this Live Golf versus PGA Tour. For something that started off little small, oh, we ain't worried about it. That's just Phil doing this. Within a matter of 3 weeks, fellas, the PGA Tour is on life support.
Suffering.
That's what you get.
That's that money.
Yep.
They didn't have. Oh, go ahead, Big Reg.
Brooks Koepka and Abraham Answer, the 19th and 20th ranked players in the world, announced this week that they're joining the Live Tour. So now you've got 12 of the top 50 in the world on this tour, plus a bunch of old veterans that have passed in Europe and in the case of Phil here in the U.S. And the biggest kicker is they're going to officially apply this week to get their tournaments qualified for world golf rankings. And the reason that's so big, if the world golf rankings says they're going to accept their tournaments and provide points to the players for their tournaments, that's how you qualify for the majors.
Money talks.
Now,
PJ.
now has there been any, because like Koepka, for instance, a major winner, has there been any scuttlebutt that you've heard, Big Reg, or any of you guys have heard about the possibility of the majors listening to the PGA and saying, okay, well, you can't play in these majors, even if you have an exemption. You can't, a lifetime exemption. A lot of the major winners have exemptions, multi-year exemptions, if not lifetime exemptions to these tournaments that they won, these majors that they won. Has there been any scuttlebutt that the majors have, fallen in line with the PGA and said, okay,
Just the opposite. All the majors said they're sitting out this year.
Right.
If you qualified, you can play. And that's with this golf rankings. So if these guys are getting points for winning these tournaments and participating in these tournaments that have no cuts, so they're going to get rankings and they qualify. And then, like you said, the Phil Mickelson's got lifetime exemptions and a few of the other guys, because eight of the big guys are all major winners. So they all got some type of exemptions in different things. Right. So if the PGA can't control the majors, why would you stay?
Right. And in fact, the majors, they're saying they might actually benefit more between the two, because you can still have the best golfers in the world come to those majors. People are still going to tune in. It's still going to be live. And now that you have this quote unquote WWE versus WCW thing going on, you got the new world order coming up in there, then this helps to the majors to kind of, stay neutral, but then invite, all parties to the table. I know I'll tune in a lot more to see those types of things going on.
I think the LIV golf, I think they have the PGA. They're scared. They're scared because there's nothing that they can do to them. Because usually the one thing that the dominant professional league has over an upstart is cash flow.
Right.
And usually that's associated with TV contracts.
Right.
But when you have this Saudi fund behind you supporting you, the last thing they don't care about money. The money is it's unlimited.
Right.
It's unlimited. So for the first time, you have a professional league literally on its heels and in panic mode right now because some of the decisions, like to permanently ban these players, like, okay, you're banned from
that was a fake scare tactic. They were like, cool, all right, I'll go to LIV. You ain't phasing me.
And the big thing is that Greg Norman has this huge axe to grind against the PGA, and some of the allegations that have come out why he's so angry is he believes that the PGA cost him, some wins as well as some money throughout the life of his career. So he's really going after them with a vengeance.
And they gave him a $3 billion check to start.
That
They don't
oil
even
money
have a
is
TV
nice.
contract, fellas.
Yeah, they don't. They streaming.
They just streaming.
Wow.
Game,
That's
set,
ridiculous.
match.
There's nothing you can
Check
do to
and
them.
mate.
So just imagine these TV networks looking like, well,
Balling.
a bunch of the big names are gone now. Nobody's watching our tournaments unless you have Roy or one of the new young guns in contention. We got a problem. Maybe we should put them on TV. Yeah. You've already heard they're having meetings this week with the players on the PGA Tour, the PGA, and announced that they're putting together a new package where they're going to have about 8 tournaments in the U.S. that are going to be special tournaments with a minimum of a $20 million prize fund. They're going to have 3 international tournaments that is going to have $25 million prize funds with no
Dangling that
cut.
cheese. Dangling that cheese
Yeah.
so they can get
Yeah.
some participants.
You
That's
got
all
it.
that is.
You got it.
But I
Come
mean,
here.
it goes
Come
deeper than
here.
that. I was listening to somebody talk today. Let's just talk about the caddies. I told y'all that the last place finisher in the LIV makes 120 grand. LIV is paying the caddies.
And usually that's on the players to pay.
That's on the players. They pay for their travel, they pay for their lodging, they pay for their meals on a separate tab, and the caddies get a percentage of their players' winnings.
That's balling.
PGA's in
Yeah.
trouble.
That's
trouble.
balling. Balling.
So, yeah, this might be the first upstart that kills the original and forces them to merge, and then the Saudis going to run whatever the new invention of the PGA will be. So,
Well, Big Reg, there's no incentive for the LIV to merge with them. They have, I mean, if they have all the players, if they have the best players, and the players coming up see these other players make these players that they're better than making way more minimum wage, making way more than these. They don't have no pool and playing less tournaments. See, that's another thing.
less tournaments for less days. Because
Yes.
their tournament's only 3 days compared to 4.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't think the Live is going to go to the PGA to merge. I think
Oh
the
no,
PGA is
PGA
going
gonna
to
come to live.
Oh, okay. I misunderstood that.
Please.
Can we talk this out?
Right.
We'll take your money and use your format or some version of it and put this back together. So, but we do got to shout out England's Matt Fitzpatrick. He won the 2022 U.S. Open, and he becomes only the second person joining the great Jack Nicklaus to win the U.S. Amateur and the U.S. Open on the same golf course. So
Isn't that something?
big stuff. That's big stuff. But yeah, PGA is dying. And
So
it's
sad, so
happening quick.
Don't let Eldrick Woods jump. That'd be the wrap.
You all
Tiger
think they
Woods.
got a bag ready for Tiger? already?
Tiger Woods.
You know
They
They
can't-
tried.
They
can't-
reported that the bag was somewhere between 500 million
Yeah.
to $1 billion.
They tried. Yeah.
And Tiger said no.
Ooh.
But
It's
when you're a
not
billionaire,
Yeah.
it's like, I'm good. That's why Roy ain't sweating it. Roy McIlroy, between his Nike contract, is worth like $150 million.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Roy done
Jordan
made-
Spieth has $100 million contract with Under
With
Armour.
Under Armour, yeah.
Man, don't
So it's
get a
like,
little motor.
we good.
Yeah. Yeah.
We all right. So, it's crazy. All right, fellas, let's talk about this NBA. we left
We're
here,
boss to that.
we left here in game 5, and some of us who originally said Warriors is 6 has said there's no way Boston gonna lose game 6. I pushed it to 7. I don't know about y'all, but Boston came out swinging.
They did.
took a 14-2 run, came out swinging, then got punched in the mouth.
They got Mayweather.
0 run. And was it just me, or did it seem like almost all the players in Boston laid down, with the exception of
They did. They put up
Jaylen
no
Brown.
fight.
Jaylen Brown didn't lay down, and Al Horford didn't lay down, but looked like everybody else laid down.
Jason Tatum, he disappointed me, man.
Like I told you all,
Dude, he
like
got
I
locked
told
down.
you, Boston lucked up and won that first game. If the Warriors would not have let up and kept that lead in the first game, it wouldn't even have went 5 games. It'd have
You're
went
right.
4.
You're right.
But they gave them a little hope. They thought they were doing something. Came back, won another game. They tied it up 2-2, and then the Warriors said enough is enough.
Yeah. And you got to remember, Jason Tatum is similar to what Devin Booker did in the finals last year. When you come up against a defensive team that can lock you down from multiple players, even your bench, Otto Porter was locking them down, Clay was locking them down. So you got to remember, that's their star player. This is why Brown was able to get off just a little bit, but Draymond was getting under his skin in a few of those games too. But the Warriors are the number 2 defense behind the Celtics in the league. So it wasn't going to be easy for either one of them.
Yeah.
I just think that I think we still have to be cautious about just putting Boston in a negative light or anything like that, because I think that every champion, every ascending champion or potential champion has to go through a champion to be that. They have to go through their bumps and their bruises to get to ascend, particularly when they've never won. So I just think that Boston, for what you got to congratulate them for what they've accomplished this year, after failure after failure after failure under the old leadership, Brad Stevens. So they lost, but they lost to champions. They didn't. They lost to true grizzled champions who know how to close out series and have been through multiple wars.
And they put up a fight while doing it. Boston definitely showed fight. And to your point, Ed, I think this will just serve as motivation for them, especially after Draymond talking smack after winning the championship. Like the best motivators is to see somebody else celebrating the championship.
I think one of the things that Boston forgot to do was they forgot to use their bench. They only played maybe 7 deep, and that hurt them. The Warriors kept rotating people in, like you just said. They put so many people on Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, they got tired. They couldn't keep up because they didn't use their bench. And then the players that did come out there, they didn't produce.
And Williams was still hurt too. And credit to him for playing hurt.
He was hurt, but he still made an impact.
Everybody low banged up in the finals by that time. So I don't even buy that.
So, Professor, why do you say Boston won't be back?
Because as long as Milwaukee stays healthy, they're not beating them. Without Chris Middleton, they went to Game 7. And really, Milwaukee should have won that series. But if they stay healthy, if we're going to talk injuries a part of the game, if Milwaukee stays healthy, Boston's not coming through the East.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Boston's is in a tricky situation. If you look at the East, this was their year that they ascended, and might be their year to win. There's a lot of characteristics of this Boston Celtics team and the Oklahoma City team that Kevin Durant was on with Westbrook.
Good point.
Where you had a bunch of good young players,
Perkins, mm-hmm.
But they didn't have enough to win the championship, and they never got back, and then they ended up breaking them up
right
in the 2 or 3 years.
Right.
One of the big things, and somebody said this early before the season started, we got to stop treating the best scorer as supposed to quote unquote the best player on the team or the leader of the team. It was blatantly obvious that Jason Tatum's got the most ability of anybody in the Celtics, but what the Warriors did to him, especially Andrew Wiggins and Coach Kerr, and changing up that defense and shutting him down and getting in his head, he is not their best player. Jaylen Brown proved that he's the best player on the team. He just doesn't seek the limelight. And we also know that Marcus Smart and Al Horford were the leaders of the team. Let Jason Tatum be Jason Tatum and just be good and continue to develop. And hopefully they can bring a championship. But it's going to be tough getting through Milwaukee. Miami ain't going to stand pat.
Right.
I got questions about Miami.
Don't sleep on Chicago either.
Well, they got a lot of free agents. We're going to see how that shakes out.
Yeah.
You still got to have to deal with Embiid in Philadelphia.
Now stop it, Big Ranch. I knew you was
Yeah.
We got to see what Harden going to do.
It don't matter what Harden does.
But anyway,
he will not stay
it's
in rain.
one thing I wanted to say about Tatum that bothered me as well. He kept looking for kept playing with his head to the ground, always looking for the foul from the ref, like putting up these little soft shots, thinking that he was gonna get the call, but never did. Like, you got to go up strong to the hole. If this is the finals, you can't play.
He was looking for a bailout, man. Come on, you know that.
But I still caution.
That's the learning process Ed was talking about.
Right, it's the learning. Think about it. These kids, he only played 1 year at Duke, so he didn't get a thorough education as far, not school. I'm talking about a thorough basketball education. No matter how many AAU games he played, no matter how many pro games he played, this was the first time where the lights were bright and the weight was on him, so to speak. And clearly, he has development. He needs to develop some. So I agree with you, Big Reg. We have to pump the brakes, so to speak, on anointing these people like great. I'm on record of saying that I think he's going to eventually. I think he is the best pro to come out of Duke. I know there'll be arguments with Grant Hill, but I've never seen Grant in the finals. So, yeah.
But also, when you talk about fouls, you got to look at Steph Curry too. Steph didn't get a lot of calls that he should have got. So, I mean, what makes Jason Tatum think he was going to get the calls that he thought he was going to get?
Well, that's true.
Which was my point. Like, this is the finals. This is a big stage. You got to play through that.
Yeah.
But they've never experienced that. That's the thing. Steph Curry stopped. Even Steph Curry's going to look for fouls because Steph Curry's an actual superstar.
Yes.
But he's continued to play through it once he realized he wasn't going to get the calls. You can see Boston was still looking. We got these calls all year. Why ain't you giving us these calls?
Yeah.
Dude, it's the finals.
Right. So to the point that you all eloquently made, who made the call? Because in games 1, 2, and 3, the officiating was horrible. Yeah. But then 4, 5, and 6, they kind of swallowed those whistles a little more, and they weren't calling the games the same way.
Real talk, because Draymond should have been fouled. He should have fouled or teched out a couple of those games. So you're right about that. You are absolutely right.
But it's the finals, though, man. You gotta let him play, man. You gotta let him play.
Yeah, maybe from his COVID bed, Adam Silver was like, "Knock it off,
let him play, let him play."
True story. And I agree with you, BJ. Steve Kerr showed his coaching chops, not only in the finals, but against Dallas, where he went after Luka and then started shutting everybody else out. It's like, go ahead and let Luka score 40. Ain't none of them other guys gonna score. So yeah.
And full disclosure, I have to take my hat to Steve Kerr, because when the bad taste of how he took over when Mark Jackson got banished, right when they were on the cusp of being like great, I never let that. And then Steve Kerr never had any experience as a head coach. It just rubbed me the wrong way. And then, but I have to finally admit that he can coach. I mean, he's a good
I gotta give him that too. I'm with you there. Like I was feeling some type of way about Kerr too, thinking he just inherited a great team.
Yeah.
Like a la who inherited the team that Tony Dungy coached and eventually won.
Gruden.
Oh, Gruden.
Yeah. So a la that, I thought it was like, okay, you just inherited this good squad, and now you collecting all the spoils from it. But yeah, dude, he knows a little thing. He knows a thing or two about a thing or two. So yeah.
And I actually think he's actually coaching the way he wants to coach. He changed his offense to fit KD in, where it was more ISO ball. He likes more of it free flowing and all that, which they're doing now. They're back to that strength and number stuff. So.
And that backdoor cut, good God Almighty, you better watch out for it.
Too. I keep forgetting he learned at the pop.
Yeah. And the biggest thing for coaching is dealing with personalities. When you got personalities that have won,
absolutely,
and are future Hall of Famers, and keeping them together and bringing these young kids in, that's the crazy thing about the Golden State Warriors. Now nobody can say anything about Steph. He done finally got the one accolade nobody said he could get. He wasn't a bus driver, whatever. Mm-hmm. He done got the Finals MVP. He done got the Western Conference MVP. So we can leave all alone. Now they just can focus on, let's start this dynasty again and keep it running. I think they're going to pay.
Yeah. So to BJ's question, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Sis.
No, I was going to say, so to BJ's question, because he posted this, like, who do y'all see potentially coming out the West that can rival the Warriors? Or do y'all see them making another run?
Clippers.
But
If they're healthy.
Yeah,
and
that's
with
a big
Ty
if.
Lue,
That's a big if.
But here's the problem with the Warriors. This is the challenge to the other teams. The Warriors, like a lot of the players that got significant minutes during the regular season, these young boys like Moody and Kuminga, Wiseman really hasn't even tasted it yet. Mm-hmm. But they didn't even really shine. They really didn't even play in the finals. So these kids got experience during the regular season. Then Steve was like, okay, I'm a pull back a little bit in the finals, but he still went deep into his bench. He just didn't let the babies play. But he's developing them the right way. You know, he didn't put the pressure on them that some kids can take it, some kids crack. But he's bringing. They're in a championship arena environment, so that's the problem with the teams moving forward. Is that you still got a couple strong years from the big three, so to speak. But then you got these babies, these puppies that's just like biting at the bits, ready to roll. And their bodies are maturing, their minds, their games maturing. Yeah. So that's the problem I think the West is going to have.
Question to that though, because I read in the reports that GP2 is asking for something in the range of 15 to 20 mil.
Yeah,
for his.
He ain't getting it.
GP2 might have to leave to get paid. And he's been trying to do his NBA journey for like 7 years, finally made it. Do y'all realize that he was a video coordinator before the season started?
Yeah.
So he got his ring. I can see him going somewhere to get paid. The Warriors ain't going to pay him that much. When they got Moody sitting on the bench, it's like, you see what Gary did? You see the time he got? That's what we need you to do at the guard position.
Yeah.
Kuminga, you see what Draymond is doing and all of them. That's what you need to do at the forward position. Mm-hmm. So the big people they got to pay, and they don't have to pay him this year, but I think they'll try to get him under contract. Wiggins earned himself another huge deal.
He said that at the celebration, he was like, "Yeah, we about to get a bag." Him and
Poole. The question is, how crazy is Poole going to ask for the money? He may end up being a sacrificial lamb and realize it ain't as green as it is in Golden State.
He go out there if he want to.
Yeah, I see him taking the possible. Like they come to a compromise where he stays with the squad.
And how many of the players is Mike Brown gonna try to poach on his way to the Kings?
I see him poaching GP2. Yeah, good luck with the Kings, because I don't see any of the Kings on that squad staying. So I don't see him staying.
That's another Death Valley right there.
Yeah, that's a place where players go to get paid and die. Unfortunately, it's a shame. So, and they've already got the plan. They literally were talking about how they were developing the young guys. They would have them practice before the other guys got out there, have them sit out on the court during the finals, soaking all the stuff in. So they got a first-hand education of what it takes to win with having no pressure on them.
Yep.
Can you say dynasty? That's all you got to say. Can you say dynasty?
I got to say that.
And if Wiseman can stay healthy 80% of the time,
Lord Jesus,
it's over.
It's like we right back in 2017 where it was like, remember back in 2017, it was like, can anybody beat the Warriors?
Right.
But it seemed like back to every year, like Warriors were going to the finals.
That's why I keep telling you LeBron's door is closed. You just need to accept it.
Stop.
You just need to accept it. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm
not accepting that. No.
Okay.
I will never bet against LeBron James. No.
Okay.
He'll win enough.
Speaking of what it says about the Golden State Warriors, though, one of the craziest stories of the week. Assistant coach.
He said, "Nah, I'm good."
Turned down the head coaching job of the Charlotte Hornets.
Yeah.
But we've seen this before.
He said it was best to go with the winning team. No, I'm gonna stick with them.
Nah, sometimes you got to do organizational fit, and you got and you got to look. Is this what is the culture there? Do they have a winning mentality? Forget who owns the team and his championship prowess. Let's focus on the culture that is the Charlotte team. That's what you need to focus on. And can I single-handedly change this? Because everyone's that's been there. We talk about graveyards and Sacramento Kings. Everyone that's gone to Charlotte has failed. Every single.
But you have a potential culture change in LaMelo, and he was changing that around him. Miles Bridges, they were making that shift.
But brother, they were shining on the court, and they still got the coach fired. So I mean, let's
didn't get that move. Yeah, I mean, but
so let's be honest. So look, Josh McDaniels did the same thing when he turned down the Indianapolis Colts. Going over to the NFL, and the longtime Patriots assistant got hired by the Colts, and at the last minute, someone whispered in his ear, "Hey, do you want to work for the Ursies? I mean, do you really want to go to Indianapolis?" No, and he held out, and now he's on to big, greener pasture, so to speak. Denver, I believe. No, where is he?
Denver.
At now? Denver, Denver now. So with Russell Wilson. Instead of
not Denver. I'm sorry, not Denver. Las Vegas. He's with Vegas.
I'm sorry. Still, he has Carr.
And then I would also say that sometimes an individual will know if it's their time or not. Why jump out there if you know you're not ready and you fail? You might as well wait until you're actually prepared to do it. Maybe the opportunity might come along, maybe it won't. But sometimes you got to soul search within yourself and say, like you said, is that the culture where I want to cut my teeth into head coaching for the first time and then potentially not be ready, and then I fail? It's the second time.
Yeah, remember, he was the one that developed the New Jersey Nets that made them so viable, that made KD and Kyrie want to come to the Nets. But then they said they didn't want a coach that didn't have experience to coach that team, and end up bringing a coach with no experience to coach the team. That's all.
So that's my point. You had somebody that already laid the groundwork to set that culture in Brooklyn that would attract the KD and the Kyrie to come there. So, I mean, I don't get this about, going to a new organization and then not knowing what the culture is. You can establish this culture the same way you did with Brooklyn. You got the key pieces right there with Bridges and Ball, and PJ Washington and other pieces.
The D'Antoni from the top. Culture comes from the top, and if you only got so much power, and now that you've seen what a true top flight culture is at Golden State, which you've never been a part of, and you've been there a year, now you see how they treat their players, how they treat their players' families, how things work, and you be like, oh, why would I leave here? And I'm gonna get a promotion because I get to move up from just an assistant to the top assistant, so I get probably another $500,000 to $1 million bonus, and I get to live in Cali, in the Bay.
And actually,
what did D'Antoni say? What did D'Antoni say?
Okay, now to that, who's really
I know, Ed, I'm with you, but he the next name on the list.
Seconds. You got a choice between D'Antoni and Terry Stotts.
D'Antoni's supposed to be meeting with Michael Jordan today.
And maybe he'll bring James Harden with him.
Charlotte trying to make a play. They are a legit player to try to get Westbrook. So
now, if I'm Philly, James Harden for LaMelo, I do that in a hot second.
They would lose every season ticket holder they had if they did that.
Yep.
Jordan wouldn't do that. I hope.
You want your boy? You can have your boy. Last piece on the NBA. This Thursday is the NBA draft. Unlike most years, we really haven't had a whole lot of hype about this draft class or this draft coming up. I guess because the finals and the playoffs were so good that they really didn't get a chance. But I mean, the top 5 picks supposedly Auburn's freshman forward Jabari Smith, who's a 6'9", 6'10" guy that plays a lot like a young KD. Doesn't like to get inside, a little thin, but has an athletic body. He did some decent things at Auburn. We'll see. You got the Gonzaga unicorn. You talk about unicorns. This kid might be the unicorn. Chet Holmgren, 7'1", 7'2", only weigh about 200 pounds, but supposedly is a dog and has impressed a lot of people in the pre-draft stuff where they actually play against each other and all that. Has been dominating people, and so somebody's going to take him early. My pick for the early star of this draft is going to be Purdue sophomore Jaden Ivey. That young fella can ball, 6'4", athletic, and his mama was an All-American. His mama's actually a current top college coach. She can play, so I think he's going to do some big things. Then you also got Duke freshman Paolo Banchero, and then Iowa sophomore Keegan Murray.
That's what I say about Holmgren. Don't choose Holmgren, because what star from Gonzaga has ever made it to the NBA? I mean, aside from Stockton, and like has balled out like that. You saw what happened with Adam Morrison a long time ago.
Yeah, because he went to Charlotte.
Death Squad.
But I wouldn't that day. The Apollo, whatever his name is, the Apollo dude from Duke. Right. Yeah, it's shit. No. Don't
flash in the pan.
I can't remember the last Duke player that was any good.
Yeah, it's interesting. The body wise, he looks like he should be. He's got all the tools, but I don't know if he's got the mentality. So it'll be interesting. I don't think there's a quote unquote immediate star in any of these guys. And depending on which team they go to, it's going to tell a whole lot of how they're.
Jules might be in the second round.
So Orlando has the number 1 pick, right?
Yep. Orlando, then Oklahoma, then the Rockets, then Sacramento, then the Pistons and Pacers. Orlando's becoming in a place where top picks go to die as well.
That's why I was like, "Damn,
poor Orlando."
If I'm hungry, I'm like, "No, don't pick me."
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. So we'll see. We'll talk about it next week. See who goes where and what we think their chances of making immediate impact.
Big Red.
And lastly,
what BJ said.
Yeah. Next week is going to be really interesting in the NBA. By June 29th, players or teams that have options in their contracts have got to make a decision on what they're going to do, whether they're going to pick up the option or decline the option and hit the free market. I don't know if y'all saw our boy Mr. Wall.
Yeah,
gladly picked up his $47.3 million.
But you follow suit, Russ. You better opt out. You better not opt in.
That's right. But he should have. You gonna tell me to sit? I'm gonna get my money.
Yeah. So it's gonna be interesting. Kyrie's option, I believe, is a little over 35, almost 36 million. But right now, him and Brooklyn are beefing about Kyrie wants a full max long term, and Nets like, man, who y'all think we are?
Hey man, that's the Nets' opportunity to get out of jail free card.
Exactly. They told him to explore the free agent market. Go ahead, do what you got to do.
So is he ending up with LeBron?
He going somewhere, but he ain't gonna stay there. I don't think he's gonna stay in Brooklyn.
I wouldn't mind him pairing back with LeBron.
The Lakers can't accept anybody until they get rid of Russell Westbrook.
Rid of Russ. That's why I said Russ don't opt in. Do not opt in.
Oh, Russ ain't leaving that money on the table.
No,
you lost your mind.
Man, his personality, he ain't leaving that money.
Russ I think Russ has got $45 million that he can opt in. Okay, come on now. You know he ain't gonna need that money on the table.
Come on, Sense.
Look, man.
He got his clothing line to think about, man.
Well, look, if he was gonna opt in, he would have opted in by now, which still leaves hope. So
maybe LeBron trying to chirp in his ear a little bit.
exactly. Hey, Russ, come on. Even if you're gonna stay with the squad, let's settle for less. Make a sacrifice. That's what D Ham meant by sacrifice.
At least Russ is working on some dribbling drills right now. I know Anthony Davis is big tall, but ain't doing nothing. He admitted it.
He's working with lethal shooter. He's working on his shooting.
Shots fired. Shots fired.
We get over here. Don't worry.
I just think that Russ gets the bad raw end of the deal, man. Leave Russ alone, man. At least he practiced.
They need to practice layups.
Y'all wrong.
Russ need to practice.
Not
layups.
a game.
Shots fired.
So we should know some more come next Tuesday of who's opting in and not, because that's going to change a lot of things, and we'll see if you end up with some signing trades where some people who shouldn't get contracts and get moved to somewhere else. All right, fellas, another weekend. It is time for us to hit our final post of the evening. J3, why don't you start us off?
Yeah, real quick. If anybody's free on Saturday, we're gonna do a bike ride out at Mount Vernon area to the National Airport. Come on out, 6:00 in the morning. Be there at B Square.
Heard that. Professor, what you got for me?
Yeah, I just want to thank all the fellas and all of our wonderful fans for all your thoughts and prayers for my family. We had a wonderful homegoing celebration for my mother-in-law on this past Saturday. Continue to keep us in your thoughts and prayers, but we felt them every step of the way. So just want to give that heartfelt thanks to all of you. Thank you.
We here for you, brother. We here for you. Since
I just want to give a shout out to Andre Ward and Layla Ali for making the Boxing Hall of Fame, and well deserved, and also free Brittany Griner.
Ed, what you got for me?
I just want to say thanks once again for another week, an opportunity to be on here with you guys. Since get better. I know you still getting over it. Professor J, always in our thoughts. But it was just thank the guys for all you do behind the scenes that no one sees, but appreciate you guys. Oh, Jay Wills, what's up, homie?
Man, we miss you, Jay.
Happy belated, bro.
Yes, sir.
I got two quick ones. First, shame on the U.S. government for having a call scheduled with Brittany Griner with her wife to celebrate their anniversary. Give her a number to give to Griner's attorney to have the embassy connect the call, and then not have anybody on duty to actually answer the phone.
Oh, that's terrible.
And have her wife in tears, distraught, because she's thinking something happened to her wife stuck in this Russian prison, and it's because they literally didn't look at the calendar and realize it's a Saturday. We need to have somebody on duty to make sure this call happens. Now they're supposedly trying to say they're gonna reschedule and all that, but it ain't their anniversary again.
Mind games. Mind games. That's mind games.
It's crazy.
You know why.
On a positive note, we want to I want to put out there that the Post crew is going to be doing the Chesapeake Bay Bridge walk this November. We're going to walk the bridge, which is approximately 6 miles. But we're going to get our group registered this month. So if you're interested in joining us, there is a sign-up fee because it is a charity walk. So proceeds go to the charity to protect the bay and a whole bunch of other things. Please reach out to whoever you have contacts or to our show, our Facebook page, and let me know. If you can send me your name and your email this week, be greatly appreciated, so I can put you in our group, and then you can go in and join when you want to. The earlier you join, the cheaper it is. So we're going to get this done before the end of June. So if you want to join the Post, fellas, get some exercise, do it for a good cause, and have a good time, please let us know. We'd be glad to have you. All right. we'd like to thank you all for listening, tuning in. As always, we appreciate your time and opportunity to share our positions on sports with you. We're here each and every Tuesday, 7 p.m. sharp. Sometimes we like this, 5, 6 wide, feeling good. Sometimes we got 2 or 3, but we're always going to be here. And we're going to bring you what we believe are the hottest topics in sports and our opinions on those topics each and every week. If you want to get in contact with us or just watch some old shows, you can just put in Positions on Sports Talk Show, Facebook page, our YouTube channel, or if you prefer the podcast element, your favorite podcast platform, Apple, all those, we're there. You can also hit us up on Twitter at Positions on SPO1. Shoot us a message. We'd love to hear from you. And as always, we appreciate you. Stay safe out there. Unfortunately, COVID's still out there and active. Unfortunately, we had one of our members find us, so please stay safe, fellas. We'll see you next week. Y'all be easy. Peace.
God bless.
See ya.
Thank you.